ADHD, stop blaming others. Unfortunately, your parents, teachers, colleagues, they may have been hard on you, but you need to stop blaming them to develop your self-responsibility and finally take off in life. I also went through all of this and suffered into adulthood, but I developed a method to put an end to it. You can access this method in the first link in the description.
How can someone with ADHD make money? This video is for every ADHD person who believes they have the best ideas in the world. But now, you'll also find out what you need to do to get those ideas out of your head and actually make money from them. I'm Yuri Maya from TDAH Descomplicado, and here you'll learn everything about the disorder in a simpler, more practical, and quicker way. They say we're a bit of dreamers, right? They say we're dreamers, that we have many brilliant ideas, right? That we really have a lot of brilliant ideas, right? Ideas out of the head at many moments. But we have a flaw, in quotes, which is never being able to get those ideas off the ground. And this is not just a quirk. Does this really exist? Is there a reason why this happens? I'm going to explain it to you in this video, so you have to watch until the end. And I'm also going to give you 3 killer tips to help you get closer to actually turning your genius into reality. Turn those crazy ideas into money. But first, like this video, leave your comment, share, and follow the channel. Because YouTube, besides helping me, it also helps you get more content like this for you more and more. The first tip is to understand your mind. There is indeed a very strong reason why you never get your ideas off the ground or have a lot of difficulty doing so. And the explanation lies in that pesky dopamine, right? That greatly influences the daily lives of those with ADHD, which is a neurotransmitter. I'm not going to explain it here scientifically or in a deeper way. I have videos I talk about this, but it works more or less like this. We have a baseline production of dopamine, which is always being released, and this neurotransmitter is present in important parts of the brain. And it's what drives us to pursue our desires, what we want to do. And execute. Get your butt off the chair. Go get a glass of water. You feel thirsty, you get up, turn on the tap and drink a glass of water. All of this requires a certain dose of dopamine for you to take action. And there's another point too. You only feel satisfied imagining your achievement. That's why, besides it being harder for you to get up from the chair to take action, the fact that you imagine yourself having that wonderful idea and putting it into practice, and that ends up generating millions of dollars. For you, that already makes you very satisfied and leaves you even less motivated to take action. In other words, it's like quicksand. The more you imagine and the less you take action, the more you get caught up in the satisfaction of having just imagined something that hasn't actually happened yet. So, pay attention to this tip because in my opinion, knowing how your mind works is more important than the treatment for ADHD itself. Because then you can suddenly give yourself a reality check. You can really push yourself to start an activity, which is the only way for you to actually make something happen. Get out of the field, out of ideas, out of theory, and really get things going. And remember what I always say here. Only action generates results. Second tip, take care of your environment. The environment you live in. Hang out with people who are at the point where you want to be, or with people who are around those people. If you are still very small, very much a beginner, wherever you are, in the career you're in the company you're at, but if you can already envision a place where you want to be, it's very important. It's important to be close to those people or to the friends of those people in some way, you know. That's not some cheap coach advice, okay? There's a special reason why this works for us. We have a problem changing our habits. It's all about the neurological aspect, how we assimilate habits that are addictive, right? In a way, changing them is usually more laborious than it is with other people. So when you're close to those people who inspire you and have habits that lead to the outcomes you want to achieve, naturally, you observe these habits, the way of thinking. Do what they do so that you reach their level. Follow their steps. So, naturally, this makes your process easier right now. As someone with ADHD, so being around people, taking care of your environment. In this sense, it makes a lot of sense for those with ADHD. It can help you a lot. Third tip, stay close to what you are exceptionally good at and focus on. We perform much better. We do things we truly love and enjoy with much more ease. And again, I'm not speaking here as a coach, for God's sake. I know life is tough. I wanted engineering, but ended up in business administration. Even if life starts crooked, it can still work out. For example, I wanted to study engineering, but I ended up switching to administration. One way or another, life found its way, it took its paths. And the business administration course helps me today with how I run my company, for example. But even if life starts off a bit crooked for you, just like it did for me, I think it's the same for everyone. After all, no one starts life or their career as a manager or working at the best company in the world. On Google, on Facebook anyway. But learn to seize opportunities and don't be afraid to take the next step when you believe it's the right moment. Believe in your boldness, in your ability to navigate complicated situations. I know that many of us with ADHD have a bit of a hit to our self-esteem. A lot of things went wrong since childhood. You got scolded a lot, you feel very insecure. I'm a bit like that too. I learned to stop being old already. But it's important for you to understand that life tends to work out. Life kind of conspires in favor of the bold. That's in Nassim Taleb's book. Someone will put the picture up there, The Logic of the Black Swan, and also Anti-Fragility. These are philosophies that say you should really be brave. Even if you fear that something might not go very well, you really should take the next step. And now, talking about ADHD, the further we are from what we love, the worse our performance. Our performance drops drastically. I've already mentioned that our levels of dopamine, let's say basal, in this way, not scientifically, that basal level drops quite drastically. And we have a lot of difficulty in performing when we're not faced with something that's truly enjoyable. However, the opposite is also true. So, if you stick to that activity you love, you're going to take off. At least that's the trend that tends to happen. So let's go right down here below. What activity do you think about, dream of, and believe will work out really well? It's going to make you a lot of money. I'm going to love reading it. And don't forget, put it down here below and immediately do everything you can to take action. Do you remember rule number 1, tip number 1? The one I gave you, it's the most important of all, okay? And don't forget to like, share, like the channel, click the bell, and do everything you need to do to help the channel and help yourself too. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.
ADHD can indeed impact your life. Have you ever felt that if you had the courage to act exactly as you think, everything would be different? People would respect and admire you? Many adults with ADHD are wasting precious time in life because they can't break free from the cycle of self-sabotage. But I developed a method that changed my game, and I'm going to teach it to you in the first link in the description.